Welcome, welcome to Positivity is the Way to Go. Our guest today is a familiar face to any NFL fan as the chief national reporter for the NFL Network. He is a trusted source for inside reports, analysis, and breaking news from around the league. Please welcome the accomplished journalist and analyst today, Steve Wyche. How you doing today, man?
Hey, Dion, I'm great. Thanks for having me on. Hope you're doing well.
Well, how your day been going?
Good, busy, very busy day. We got football getting ready to kick off, so it's a busy time.
Oh, yeah, in Brazil, right? You going to Brazil after this?
I am not. I will be in Los Angeles this weekend.
I heard your pal Rich Eisen, he on Disney Plus now.
Yeah, Rich is doing great. His Rich Eisen show is now on Disney Plus and part of the ESPN family. It's huge for him because he started his network career at ESPN and now he's returning. So I'm real happy for him.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on the Michael Parsons trade and everything? Because I think that Michael Parsons is like he a good pass rusher, but the thing is, I think that he's not like he like a situational guy. I think Dallas like ain't gonna regret it at all. I think it's like similar to the Tyreek Hill stuff. What are your thoughts?
Well, Michael Parsons is a great football player. He's not just a situational football player. He's good. Maybe he's not great against the run, but he's good enough. He's somebody that offenses have to scheme their game plan around. And anytime a team has got to spend significant practice time preparing for a specific player, that's a great player. So Michael Parsons going to Green Bay, he eventually is going to help them. It's going to take him a while to kind of fit in with the system, fit in with the other players, but he's going to make that defense a whole lot better, especially having Rashawn Gary on the other side. So I think that's a really big deal for Green Bay and for Dallas. We'll see. They get back Kenny Clark, who's a really good player. They think that they're going to be fine without Micah Parsons in the short and long term. So we'll see.
Do you think that Dallas got a Jerry Jones problem? Because I think that he didn't handle stuff right with like his age and everything.
No, I'm not going to sit here and say they've got a Jerry Jones problem. They've got a lot of talent on their team. They do year after year. They just kind of need to figure out a few things here and there to get over the hump.
Well said. So, what are your thoughts on a specific team that seems to be flying on the radar? That's like the Bears in 2010 this year.
There's a couple teams I think I think the Houston Texans aren't being talked about enough. Yes, they're the two-time AFC South defending champions, but we talk about this team coming out of the AFC. Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, Denver's a team on the rise. But I think the Houston Texans are a team because of that defense and because of their quarterback that once they start getting healthier, that is a team that we really need to pay attention to. And I think the Seattle Seahawks are another team. If Sam Darnold can replicate most of the regular season that he had last year, I think they've got the defense and the overall talent, especially in the run game, to be one of the better teams coming out of the NFC.
Yeah, but do you think Houston can compete with the likes of Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes?
Hey, they had the Chiefs on the ropes in that playoff game last year. Remember that. That wasn't necessarily a wipeout game. They had Kansas City there. Now Baltimore beat the brakes off of them Christmas Day last year. I think it was 31-2. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think they've made some upgrades, on their defense. They added Chauncey Gardner Johnson. They've got some players like that. If that offensive line that went through a lot of change can show up and play well, and if eventually they get Joe Mixon back, I think that they are a team at the end of the season that can be really dangerous.
Are they AFC Championship worthy this year, in your
We'll see.
opinion?
We'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of great teams. Like I said, Denver's on the come up. There's probably a team out there that we don't see coming. But I mean, but like you mentioned Buffalo, you mentioned Kansas City, you mentioned the Baltimore Ravens. We know that the Pittsburgh Steelers have the potential to be really good. If the Steelers stay healthy, man, there's no reason why they can't be playing in the AFC Championship. So the Texans have a ways to go, but in terms of like a team we're not talking about that much that could end up there, I think they're one of those teams.
But what about New England? Because I've been hearing New England, but they could potentially be a dark horse team too, as well, with Drake
Well,
May
well,
and Mike Vrabel. You know what he did with Tennessee Titans.
yeah, I mean, it takes some time to build. I mean, let's not forget how bad the Patriots were last year, especially along the offensive line. Now they've taken a lot of measures to upgrade their offensive line, but I don't see them necessarily being the same category as the Ravens or the Buffalo Bills who are in that division, but they should be a lot better.
Well said. Is there a player you think deserving of the Hall of Fame, uh, but isn't getting enough recognition right now? Like,
I think Darren Woodson, the longtime safety for the Dallas Cowboys, he was a collegiate linebacker. He's been a finalist a few times. I think he's someone, as well as Torrey Holt, who's had to wait way too long for his opportunity to get in.
do you got a Hall of Fame ballot? Like, do
I
you
don't.
vote?
I'm not a selector.
I think you should get a vote, Steve. We can petition
I,
Steve, a Hall of Fame voter.
I'm very involved. I cover the NFL Network's Hall of Fame show. I do a lot of things with the Hall, but I'm not one of the 50. And frankly, I'll let other people have to go through that stress.
Well, I'll put you in there, Steve,
There you
man.
go.
You think you very intelligent, man. I know you will get the vote right, you know.
Well, I appreciate you.
What are some of the biggest challenges NFL teams face when trying to build a championship roster?
Well, one of it is managing the salary cap, but I mean the biggest challenge is establishing a culture in your building. There's a reason why the Ravens are always in the hunt, or the Steelers are always in the hunt, or the Rams are, perennial playoff contender in the Eagles because they've got a good culture from ownership down, right? The teams that are routinely firing coaches and recycling front office guys and things like that, the culture in their building is unstable, right? It's never really consistent. And I think that's one of the hardest parts. And then the other part is finding the quarterback. You have a quarterback, you've got a shot. The Bengals have a shot because they've got Joe Burrow. The Chiefs are always going to be in it as long as they've got Patrick Mahomes. So, those are two of the hardest issues to find out. And that's why so many teams are consistently struggling.
Yeah, because Cleveland and Indianapolis, I think they're gonna be fighting for the number one pick, and with the Saints and everything, you know. I think
We'll
they in
see.
purgatory because A. Rich, Daniel Jones was mediocre. You know, he beat Minnesota in the playoff game. You know, but that's when he had Barkley and everything. You know.
We'll see.
So which teams do you see as a contender in the upcoming season?
There's a lot of teams that are going to be contenders. I mean, you go to the NFC, it could be the Rams, it could be, the NFC West, the Rams, the Niners, the Seahawks. Arizona's on the uptick. The Lions are going to be good. The Packers should be good. Green Bay should be improved. Minnesota should be good. So just in the NFC alone, there's a lot of contenders. And we already mentioned some from the AFC with the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Chargers, the Ravens, Buffalo Bills, the Houston Texans. This is why we play the games to find out how it's all going to flush out in the end.
Yeah, but who do you think what are your teams that you think gonna be in the championship game in the Super Bowl in your opinion as of right now
Well,
before tomorrow the season starts?
yeah, I mean, you look on paper. I mean, in the NFC, you got to put Philadelphia, at the top of the list until someone knocks them off. I think Washington should be very good. The Rams, if Matthew Stafford stays healthy, should be very good. The Lions have been kind of the kings of the NFC North for a while, but Minnesota, JJ McCarthy materializes. So again, it's so early. Of course, I'm going to say the Ravens, the Bills, and the Chiefs in the AFC, and the Eagles, Commanders, and probably the Lions right now in the NFC. But we know it's everybody is 0-0, and things tend to change by the time we get to Week 18.
What are your thoughts on the Bears and Ben Johnson? Because I'm in Chicago. What are your thoughts? You think they're gonna get anywhere, or you think that Caleb gonna improve? Because there's been a lot of chatter about like Caleb Williams not practicing good, you know, and the media and everything. You know, everybody think he gonna make a jump because he wanted Ben Johnson. That's the coach.
Well, he should improve. I mean, the Bears have done a lot of things to put talent around him, including hiring someone like Ben Johnson, who's just a great play designer, play schemer. They've upgraded their offensive line, which was important. We know they've got a lot of talent at wide receiver and running back. And then defensively, they should be better. I mean, Dennis Allen, their defensive coordinator, is one of the best defensive coordinators, in the NFL. He wasn't a great head coach with New Orleans, but their defenses were good. So I think Chicago has a chance to really be a surprise team. I mean, they've got talent at all the levels. They've addressed it. Now let's see if Ben Johnson can harness it. Because one thing about Caleb, he's incredibly talented. Now it's a matter of learning the NFL and putting it all together.
Well said. So, how was the media? How has the way the media coverage changed since you've been in the media? How's things like changed?
Well, I've been in media for a long time. Look, I've started in this profession when the internet didn't even exist. So, that's a big part of it. But I mean, lately it is changed more so. It's the podcasts have become more important. They've kind of supplanted a lot of your typical traditional studio shows. Studio shows have gone from becoming highlight driven to becoming issue and conversational driven. People used to read newspapers in print. Now they read them on the internet, and they don't want the long investigative stories. Those used to be commonplace. Now they want, what can you give me in 6 paragraphs and let me keep it moving. So there's a lot of different aspects of the media that's changed, and some for the better and some for the worse.
Well, because I think journalists is really like, around the horn. They had took them off there and everything. I think journalists, people don't like read newspapers today. And then I'm young, Steve, so my generation, they got attention span like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
If they like it, they click. If they don't like it, it's gone.
Yep. You're on the shot clock. You got a 24-second shot clock.
So how do you balance reporting on team news with the NFL for controlling its own narrative?
That's a great question. I get asked it a lot. Covering a league that basically signs your paycheck, but I've never really been told to do something a certain way. Just be a great journalist. Just do things the right way, the fair way, and that's how I've always done it. I haven't compromised my integrity in any way to make somebody happy. I know who I work for. I work for the fans, the viewers, the readers, the listeners, and I also know who signed my check. It's the NFL. And I've had the good fortune of covering the NFL for the network now for 17 seasons. And so I think by me being fair, by holding the NFL accountable on several issues, such as, diversity in coaching hires, the Bountygate scandal a couple of years ago, really being tough but fair and credible. That's how I balance it out.
Well, I had like when you were talking about Colin Kaepernick and everything, your story and everything. It was really good. And I think you do good at what you do, man.
Well, I
I seen
appreciate
some of your work. That's why I wanted to have you on, man. I
well,
seen
I
you on
appreciate
TV
it.
before on the NFL Network.
Well, thank you very much for the kind words.
What was your first major NFL assignment that helped you develop your experience?
Oh my gosh. Well, I covered the Miami Dolphins back in the day. Dan Marino was still playing. I think just covering that team on a daily basis. Don Shula was coaching. I can't know if there's any particular story of sort because they were always very good, but just covering Dan Marino and being there every day when they had, Mark Clayton and some of these really good players on their team. I think that's what kind of got me going. And then I went and covered the NBA for 7 years and then came back to the NFL in Atlanta. They had just played in the NFC Championship game and lost to the Eagles, and they had a disappointing season. And it's kind of covering the trials and tribulations, with Michael Vick there and them losing close games and then having these struggles on the back end, the back half of the season. That's what got me going. And then, of course, there were some really big stories, involved. You mentioned the Colin Kaepernick stuff, Michael Vick dogfighting, a lot of things like that. So just having the opportunity to cover this league in a lot of different ways has helped.
Well, yeah, and the Washington Redskins, the Daniel Snyder and everything,
I never covered those teams.
Okay, all right, I got you, Steve. My bad. What do you think about the ESPN deal that's happening with the NFL Network and everything? You think it's good, bad?
We'll see. I mean, they're not here yet. We're still working as the NFL Network until that deal is completed. And then, once the purchase, the takeover happens, those of us who are here and whose futures are uncertain, we hope that we get retained. I work with tremendously talented people that could really help things out. So we'll see. Living in the unknown is what a lot of people in the workplace do every day. And that's kind of where we are. So we've got to make the best of things while we know the situation that we're in, and just really hope that a lot of us get to continue doing this.
Well, I think your job safe, Steve. You've
No.
been there. You've been there a long time, man. I think when you've been in the media a long time. Somebody will pick you up. Either way it go, you're gonna be good regardless. I
Well,
believe.
we'll see. We'll see. The one thing that we can never overestimate or underestimate is time and value. What looks good to one person may not look good to the next.
Yeah, but I think you valuable to NFL Network. That's why you've been there almost 2 decades.
Well, we're not going to be the NFL Network for much longer. That's exactly what ESPN's buying us. So we'll see.
So
I hope so, but we'll see.
what advice do you give aspiring NFL journalists and analysts today?
Know your stuff. Be credible. I mean, too many times people want to be stars in 2 years in the business. You've got to show that you're knowledgeable, that you know how to write, that you know how to read, that you understand the sports or the sport, the subject matter that you're covering, that you treat people well, you respect the craft. Too many times folks want to be Instagram stars and hey, look at me, look at the glam life I'm living, look what I'm doing, instead of making sure that when you walk into an NFL facility, people know your name and they know that you're credible and you're trustworthy. And I think that's where a lot of lines have been blurred. And so that's what I tell young people. Yeah, you may see somebody with 1 million followers and doing this and that, but check back on them in 5 years and see if they're still around, because those people who are credible journalists tend to last a while.
Well said. What was the coolest player that you met in locker room, being in locker rooms and stuff? Like who the coolest player that you met? They was in Hall of Fame right now.
Troy Polamalu, one of my favorite people ever.
Was it because the hair or the play on the field?
It was because he was a great player, but also one of the most genuine human beings in a lot of aspects. Just high character, high IQ, incredibly thoughtful, incredibly just well-rounded in so many ways. I just think the world of Troy and a million other people. I could have named a lot of other people, but Troy is somebody who I have the ultimate respect for more than just being a football player.
Well, Steve, it was a pleasure having you on today, man, and I thank you for hopping on, man, and I hope to have you on again, man, and enjoy the NFL season tomorrow. Kickoff with the Eagles and Cowboys. That's gonna be a good game.
Let's hope so. And
Well,
at the end,
I think the Eagles gonna win though. Dallas gonna stop the run, but then they got the pass with AB and Devontae Smith.
it's week one. You never know. But Dion, thank you so much for having me on, and good luck to you and all the best.
I appreciate you, man.
You got it.